Coming up, it's Mansfield High School taking on Somerville High School. That's next on High School Quiz Show. Hey everybody, and welcome to High School Quiz Show. I'm Joe Hanson, your host. We start, as always, with the toss-up round. All answers are worth 10 points. There are no point deductions for wrong answers, and players, you may confer. So teams, if you're ready, good luck. Here we go. What does the Z stand for in the context of the book and film franchise World War Z? Sam.
Zombies?
That is right. The phrase, "the Pope," became an internet meme after Chicago native Robert Francis Prevost was elected Pope. The nickname is a play on what NFL team? Shreyas.
The Chicago Bears.
That's right, the Bears. In the 1440s, what German blacksmith invented a method of printing from movable type that remained largely unchanged until the 20th century? Oliver.
Gutenberg.
Gutenberg is right. A theocratic regime called Gilead takes over the United States in what 1985 dystopian novel by Margaret Atwood? Soham.
Handmaid's Tale.
That's right. For our next question, take a look at your monitors. Visible to the naked eye on a dark night, what star-forming nebula seen here is named after a hunter from Greek mythology? Sam.
Orion.
The Orion Nebula is right. The 2026 Winter Olympics marks the official Olympic debut of what sport also known as skimo? Patrick.
Ski mountaineering.
Ski mountaineering is right. The first film from Latvia to win an Academy Award, what 2024 animated film tells the story of a solitary cat who must bond with other animals to survive a catastrophic flood? Soham.
Flow.
Flow is right. What two-word phrase refers to a collapsed star so dense that not even light can escape? A notion that Einstein initially thought too preposterous to be real. Soham.
Black hole.
Black hole is right. What Colombian-born star of Modern Family is the first Latina to be nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited Series or Movie for her title role in Griselda? Soham.
Sofia Vergara.
That's right. Our next question comes from a special guest, so take a look at your monitors.
Hi, I'm Jose Cuevas, science communicator at the Museum of Science, Boston. Here's my question. The Live Animal Care Center at the Museum of Science is home to a variety of animals, including wildlife native to New England, such as the eastern box turtle and the American kestrel. About twice the size of a domestic house cat, what is the only wild cat found in Massachusetts?
Patrick.
Bobcat.
Bobcat is right. There were no humans in New Zealand until around the year 1300, when what indigenous people first arrived from East Polynesia? Patrick.
Maori.
Yes, Maori. Which country shares a land border with Iraq? Kuwait, Pakistan, or Yemen? Patrick.
Kuwait.
Kuwait is right. In 2025, the Boston Red Sox traded all-star slugger Rafael Devers to what San Francisco team? Nate.
Giants.
The Giants is right. Japanese for warrior or knight, what 7-letter word refers to a military class in pre-industrial Japan? Shreyas.
Samurai.
Samurai is correct. Following an executive order signed by President Trump in March 2025, what current U.S. Secretary of Education has been tasked with shutting down the department? Oliver.
McMahon.
Linda McMahon is right. All right, we are off to a great start. Let's take a moment to thank the folks who make High School Quiz Show possible. Major funding for High School Quiz Show is provided by Safety Insurance.
Welcome to another edition of New England Survivalists, the game we all get to play. You can ask an independent agent about safety insurance and learn more at the Resource Center at safetyinsurance.com.
Additional funding is provided by the Museum of Science, Massachusetts Teachers Association, Brightbound, UMass Amherst, Subaru of New England, and Direct Federal Credit Union. welcome back. The score is Mansfield with 100 points. Somerville has 50. Let's get back to the game. World War I began with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand on June 28, 1914, in which Balkan city? Josh.
Sarajevo.
Sarajevo is right. Abbreviated FR. Which chemical element has the lowest electronegativity? Nate.
Francium.
Francium is right. A person who is pugnacious is most likely to do which of the following? Eat, fight, or study? Soham.
Fight.
Fight is right. In 2021, Algeria became the last country in the world to phase out TEL, an anti-knocking agent in gasoline. TEL is a highly toxic compound of what chemical element? Sam.
Lead.
Lead is right. According to Hunger Games author Suzanne Collins, Katniss Everdeen is an updated version of what Greek hero who slew the Minotaur? Soham.
Perseus.
No. Somerville, you have a chance here. Sam?
Theseus.
Theseus is right. What former New England Patriots coach is the current head football coach of the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill? Josh.
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick is right. Often compared to fictional editor Miranda Priestley in The Devil Wears Prada, in 2025, who announced she was stepping down after 37 years as editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine? Looking for Anna Wintour. Also known in the local language as Cymru, what constituent country of the UK was a top producer of coal during the 19th and early 20th centuries? Sam.
Wales.
Wales is right. In a series of public arguments for American independence from Britain, what firebrand lawyer popularized the phrase, "Taxation without representation is tyranny"? Paul Revere, Thomas Paine, or James Otis? Oliver.
Paine.
No. Mansfield, you have a chance. Tris.
Otis.
James Otis is right. What esteemed director of Goodfellas and The Departed has repeatedly asserted that Marvel films are amusement parks and not cinema? Josh.
Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese's right. Which Greek island was famous for its Colossus, a giant statue of the sun god Helios that was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world? Sarah.
Rhodes.
Rhodes is right. All the Beauty and the Bloodshed is a documentary that follows photographer and activist Nan Goldin in her efforts to hold what family accountable for the opioid epidemic? Patrick.
Sackler.
The Sackler family is right. Referencing the author of The Prince, what 13-letter adjective means cunning or scheming, especially in politics? Sarah.
Machiavellian.
Machiavellian is right. The Benelux countries are Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Which of these does not share a land border with France? Shreyas.
The Netherlands.
Netherlands is right. Which vitamin is also known as ascorbic acid? Shreyas.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C is right. And that's the end of the round. The score is Mansfield in the lead with 180 points. Somerville has 110 points. This is a great match so far. How about a round of applause for both teams? Last week, Milton Academy beat Westwood to earn a spot in the quarterfinals. In today's match, Mansfield and Somerville are both hoping to advance as well. Now, the head-to-head round is next, but first we're going to take a minute to get to know the players. Always one of my favorite times of the show. All right, Mansfield, we'll start with you. So, I hear you started an interesting club.
Yeah, so in middle school, I started a broccoli club, but for some reason, not many people joined. I'm still not sure why. They won't, tell me why they didn't join. Any?
Personal, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
If that one doesn't catch on, you can go Brussels sprouts, cauliflower.
It hurts, though. It hurts.
We'll wish you luck.
Thank you.
Patrick, you carrying on a long tradition here on game shows?
Yeah. So my dad in the audience, he was on Jeopardy, and he won the first day. On the second day, he lost on a Disney question in Final Jeopardy.
Oof. You guys didn't watch enough movies? I hope you've remedied that by now.
I try my best.
Wish you luck. Shreyas, you used to have an interesting career online that I would like to know more about.
So when I was in middle school, I decided that I would start my career as a YouTube rapper. I released various hits such as Water is the Best and School God, both 1 and 2.
Is this something you plan to continue?
Every now and then when we have a history project, I will write a rap in Lin-Manuel Miranda style.
Hey, it worked for him. Josh, collector? Got an interesting collection, I hear.
Yeah, I have a political button collection from 1896 to 2016.
2016, I'm actually surprised we're still making buttons in the social media era. Do you have any favorites from that collection?
I have this really nice 1940 FDR pin. He's my favorite president, so.
Those are worth something, I bet, huh?
Not much, actually.
Oh, okay. Also on the Mansfield team, we have mascot Sting, alternates Vetter and Jacob, and Coach Ken Barrett. All right, let's move on to Somerville. Sarah, you also have a game show tradition in your family, I hear.
My lovely father, who is also here today, was on Jeopardy! He was on an 8-day streak, very proud.
Maybe we need to get a little dad head-to-head question off in the lobby after this. What do you think? Okay. Oliver, are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed right now, but I was born ambidextrous, but my babysitter only taught me to use my right hand, so.
Oh, I hear that happen to a lot of people. They used to think the left hand was wrong or evil.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know we love you for who you are.
Thank you.
Sam, Sarah didn't mention this, but I am told you guys are brother and sister. Is there any sibling rivalry we should know about?
We're good friends, and we both like trivia.
Do you ever find that the heat of competition, that you guys can bond and raise each other up?
Raise each other up for sure. I don't know if it's through bonding, though.
Okay. Well, remember, you got to go home later and still be friends, so. Nate, I hear you're kind of also an interesting collector in a way as well.
Yeah, I have a meme archive. Like, memes come and go, but like they're always still in my heart, so I wanted a way to archive it so I could remember them. It started out like last year, but I've been into memes since around like 2017.
These are great. They move through culture so fast, somebody's got to collect all these.
Yeah.
Also on the Somerville team, we have alternates Antonio and Ben and Coach Ted Blake. Let's hear it for both teams. Okay, it's the head-to-head round. In this round, correct answers add 10 points to the team total, and wrong answers result in a 10-point deduction. All right, and get a little friendly handshake. The clock is set at 90 seconds. Here we go. Who was the first woman to fly solo nonstop?
Amelia Earhart.
Yes. What is the official state religion of the country of Jordan?
Islam?
Yes. Name the only Canadian province where French is the sole official.
Quebec.
Yes. Launched in 2016, what short-form video platform helped launch viral trends like dances to
TikTok?
Yes. Which U.S. state is the birthplace of both George Washington and Thomas?
Virginia?
Yes. In Greek myth, what winged horse sprang from the...
Pegasus?
Yes. What is the atomic number of carbon?
6.
Yes. In Lord of the Flies, what kind of shell does Piggy use to call meetings and establish order among the boys?
Seashell.
No, conch. What is the first name of Macaulay Culkin's character in the Home Alone films?
Kevin.
Yes. In 1847, what U.S. city was founded by Brigham Young as a refuge?
Provo?
No, Salt Lake City. What 8-letter word is the scientific term for the lower part of the human jaw?
Mandible?
Yes. Who was president of the United States during the Mexican-American War?
Polk.
Yes. Which Dr. Seuss book features a character who speaks for the trees?
The Lorax.
Yes. What is the highest mountain peak in both the Alps and Western Europe?
Matterhorn?
No, Mont Blanc. Oceania, Eurasia, and Eastasia are the 3 totalitarian superstates in what dystopian novel?
1984.
Yes. What Icelandic city is the world's northernmost capital?
Reykjavik?
Yes. An Olympic-sized swimming pool is how many meters long?
50.
Yes, that's the end of the round. Let's take a look at the score. Mansfield has 210 points. Somerville, 190. This is a good one. Let's give it up for both teams. All right, teams, it's time for the category round. Today's categories are the inside scoop, leg day, Back to the classics. Quality control, a house divided, and timing is everything. All categories have 5 questions with increasing point value. Teams will choose 2 categories each and have the option to toss 1 question per category to the other team that the other team must answer. Players, you are able to confer. All right, Mansfield, who is your spokesperson? Patrick? All right. And Somerville, how about you? Sam. Okay, Somerville, you've got a little bit of ground to make up, so the first category goes to you.
Leg day is probably human anatomy. Should we do classics?
Classics.
All right, back to the classics. These are questions about 19th century novels for 10 points. In Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter, which letter is Hester Prynne forced to wear as a sign of shame?
Is it R? Is it D like it does? I feel like
R.
No, that's A for adultery. For 15 points, all happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. What Russian author wrote this famous opening line from Anna Karenina?
Tolstoy.
Tolstoy is right. For 20 points, in Sense and Sensibility, what English author wrote about sensible Eleanor Dashwood and her wildly romantic sister Marianne?
Austen.
Jane Austen is right. For 25 points, in Back to the Classics, what Charles Dickens novel includes the quote, "Please, sir, I want some more"?
Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist is right. And for 30 points, reader, I married him. This iconic line is from Jane Eyre. After Jane marries what brooding master of Thornfield Hall?
We can pass. I just don't remember. Just pass. Rutherford.
And we're looking for Mr. Rochester. Mansfield, your first category?
A house divided.
A house divided. These are questions about the American Civil War. For 10 points. The Civil War began with the Confederate attack on Fort Sumter on April 12, 1861. The war effectively ended with Lee's surrender at Appomattox Courthouse on April 9th of what year?
1865.
That's right. For 15 points. The South suffered a crushing defeat at what 1863 battle in Pennsylvania that's generally regarded as the turning point in the Civil War?
The Battle of Gettysburg.
Gettysburg is right. For 20 points. In what's been called a dress rehearsal for the Civil War, in 1859, what abolitionist led the raid on Harper's Ferry in a failed attempt to end slavery?
John Brown.
John Brown is right. For 25 points, in a house divided. Adopted in 1868, what constitutional amendment granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, thereby granting citizenship to formerly enslaved people?
14th Amendment.
14th Amendment is right. And for 30 points, fought on September 17th, 1862, what battle in Maryland resulted in the most deaths in a single day?
The Battle of Antietam.
Antietam is right. Somerville, next category.
Leg day.
Leg day. These are questions about the anatomy of the human leg. For 10 points. Also known as the thigh bone, what is the longest, strongest, and heaviest bone in the entire human body?
The femur.
Femur is right. For 15 points, what is the scientific name for the kneecap, one of the most stressed points in your body?
The patella.
Patella is right. For 20 points in leg day, babies are born without bony kneecaps. In the place where the kneecap will eventually develop, they have a structure made of what tough, flexible tissue?
Cartilage.
Cartilage is right. For 25 points. The ACL is a ligament in the knee that connects the femur to what bone, also known as the shin bone?
Fibula.
No, it is the tibia. For 30 points, what is the scientific name for the calf bone, the large bone that runs parallel to the tibia?
Fibula.
Fibula is correct. Mansfield, final category to you.
What do we think? The inside scoop.
The inside scoop. These are questions about ice cream. For 10 points. Thomas Jefferson often served ice cream at the White House and helped make it a popular dish in America. He first encountered ice cream in the 1780s while he was living in what country?
France.
France is right. For 15 points, an early form of ice cream, snow flavored with honey and nectar, was enjoyed by what king of Macedonia who overthrew the Persian Empire?
Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great is right. For 20 points in the inside scoop, what 1964 children's novel by Roald Dahl mentions Fickelgrubers, a rival candy factory that makes never-melting ice cream?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
That's right. For 25 points, quote, "My first summer job wasn't exactly glamorous, but it taught me some valuable lessons." What former U.S. president said this about scooping ice cream at a Baskin-Robbins in Honolulu?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama is right. For 30 points, according to one story, what flavor consisting of chocolate ice cream, marshmallows, and nuts was invented by William Dreyer in 1929 to give folks something to smile about during the Great Depression?
Rocky Road.
Rocky Road is right. That's the end of the category round. The score is Mansfield with 410 points. Somerville has 260 points. A lot of games still to play. Anything could happen. Let's hear it for both teams. Okay, we are heading into the final round of play, the lightning round. Correct answers add 20 points to the team total, and there is a 20-point deduction for incorrect answers. All right, the clock is set. Here we go. Mount Fuji is located about 60 miles west of what capital city? Shreyas.
Tokyo.
Yes. In the Harry Potter series, what is the nickname of Professor Alistair Moody? Soham.
Mad-Eye.
Yes. In the 1920s, artist Gutzon Borglum was hired to create what massive sculpture to promote tourism in South Dakota? Josh.
Mount Rushmore.
Yes. In the classic American board game Monopoly, how much money do you collect for passing go? Sam.
$200.
Yes. What Austrian city is the birthplace of Mozart? Patrick.
Vienna.
No, Salzburg. What was the maiden name of Rose Kennedy, matriarch of the Kennedy family? Josh.
Fitzgerald.
Yes. In 1964, who gave a famous speech called The Ballot or the Bullet? Sam.
Malcolm X.
Yes. Bile is produced by the liver and stored in what small, hollow organ? Sam.
The gallbladder.
Yes. What is the largest city in Scotland by population? Patrick.
Glasgow.
Yes. What type of leaf is depicted on the national flag of Canada? Soham.
Maple.
Yes. What is the first title in the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Sam.
The Fellowship of the Ring.
Yes. The Spanish Civil War took place during which decade in the 20th century? Patrick.
1930s.
Yes. In the 1970s, conservative activist Phyllis Schlafly helped defeat what proposed? Soham.
The Equal Rights Amendment.
Yes. Who plays Jack Dawson in the 1997 movie? Sarah.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes. Which island of Hawaii is home to the U.S. Naval Base at Pearl Harbor? Oliver.
Oahu.
Yes. Which U.S. state has the largest community of Cajuns? We were looking for Louisiana there. And the winning team this week is Mansfield with a score of 550 points. Somerville finishes with 380 points. Congratulations to both teams for a great game. Mansfield now moves on to the quarterfinals. Join us next week for the match between Belmont and Brookline. It's going to be a good one. So be sure to join us right here on High School Quiz Show.